Brown's last stop was with the Kings, where he was fired in December after a 13-18 start to this season, despite having led the franchise to its first playoff berth in 16 seasons back in 2023. Tony Kornheiser on PTI had some strong words for folks who may be criticizing the Knicks on this hire.
Mike Brown's record in regular season games in the NBA is .454 and .304. He wins at a percentage of 59.9%. His record in the playoffs is 50-40. And, he wins more than he loses. He took LeBron James to the finals in Cleveland, and he took Sacramento to the playoffs when they hadn't been there in 17 years. He's a professional coach, and he's being hired, if it happens, by a management that is amateurish. Every single thing the Knicks have done, including firing Tom Thibodeau, has made them look worse. Day by day, worse. So he is, Mike, and I'll get out of here on this, Mike Brown is on some level better than the Knicks deserve right now.
Alan Hahn, you're around this Knicks team as an analyst for MSG. Do you agree with Tony that Mike Brown is better right now than the Knicks deserve?
Well, I mean, all the respect to Tony, the Knicks front office has been a huge part of rebuilding this franchise from what it was when Phil Jackson was running things, okay? So you got to give Leon Rose a little more credit than to say that they don't deserve this. They have built themselves out of what was nothing into a team that really, now you consider them a championship contender, which is something we haven't been able to say about this franchise in a quarter century. So let's give a little more credit to Leon Rose, William Wesley and company and what they've done. Am I surprised by the Thibodeau hire? Yes. Do I agree with it? No, I do not. But do I agree that Mike Brown is the right hire for right now? Absolutely. The resume, the experience, everything that you need to walk into a place like New York with the expectation of not just winning, not just matching last year. No, the expectation now here in New York is to get to the NBA Finals, especially with the new landscape of the East.
Tim?
Let's go back in time 30 years ago to 1995 when the Yankees lost in the first round of the playoffs to the Seattle Mariners. Buck Showalter gets let go, and the Yankees go out and hire Joe Torre. Now, at the time, Joe Torre had never won a playoff game. It was called Clueless Joe, the back page, I believe, at the Daily News at the time. It was a widely panned hire. People didn't think it was going to work. He was a guy who coached 3 teams in his past, like Mike Brown has. He was 55 years old, like Mike Brown is. And he was a guy that was not seen as somebody who was going to get the Yankees anywhere with an imperious owner in George Steinbrenner, just like James Dolan now, right? What happened? They went to the playoffs the next 12 years in a row. They won 4 World Series, totally transformed the franchise, totally transformed the sport of baseball. I'm not saying the Knicks are going to go on a dynastic streak here. However, if you are a Knicks fan, that's the kind of thing you are hoping for. And look, to Alan's point, and frankly to Tony's point, I think he nailed it in a lot of ways. Mike Brown was clearly the best option for this team. He has coached in Los Angeles. He has coached Kobe Bryant. He has coached Michael Jordan. He's coached LeBron James. He's been around the Spurs. He's been around the dynastic Warriors team. He is going to understand the pressure that comes with being in New York and the pressure that comes with being in this job, where there is nothing short of a finals that's going to be acceptable. To Alan's point, the Knicks just made the conference finals for the first time in 25 years and fired their coach. If you do that, you're not going to be able to say, oh, well, we got to the second round, first year, growing pains, we can get better next year. No, the only way this is going to work for the Knicks, for their fans, for the expectations they have, is for the Knicks to be in the NBA Finals next year. If they win it at that point, we'll see. But that's what people are expecting, and that's what Mike Brown has to deliver. And this is a guy who's experienced. He's won big in the playoffs. He's made the finals before. And there wasn't a better option available after they struck out on all these coaches who were employed by other teams.
Yeah, this is the best of a bad situation right now, I think, with Mike Brown. I think, it felt like it was going to be impossible to win the press conference and win the announcement once you get rid of somebody like Tibbs. But the X's and O's are there. The guy's coached tremendous offenses with that Sacramento Kings. He can come up with some inventive ways to even expand that offense even more. He was the architect behind a lot of that Warriors defense, and his teams that he's coached have improved defensively, which we all know that the Knicks need. But really what's most important is the high-pressure stuff. We talked about the fact that whoever comes in here, it's championships, finals or bust at the very least, and there's an expectation that there's got to be a championship here. Mike Brown has been in all of these high-intense situations. He coached LeBron James when there was LeBron James as carrying this team, and you got to get to the finals and win the championships. He was there with the Lakers when it was Kobe, Nash, and Howard, and he had to do that. Of course, it was like he lasted a week and a half when all that happened, but that was just a mess there. He also, let's not forget the fact that when Kerr went out, when it was that first KD year, he was coaching that Warriors team in the playoffs. They were 12-0 under him as a coach. That is a high-pressure situation. He is used to this. Now, there probably is no higher pressure than Madison Square Garden and the Knicks saying you have to win us a championship for the first time in a million years. But if there's anybody built for that, it is Mike Brown. And he, combine that with what he can do with that team, I think this is the best of all of the things that we've looked at for the Knicks. This is the best scenario.
To Tony's point about amateurish management, if the Knicks lose in the first or second round of the playoffs, they're going to be seen as having amateurish management. If they make the finals, this is going to be remembered and hailed as a move that transformed the Knicks into a finals team. That's really all it comes down to.
The problem is if it's finals or bust, and you have a coach that is not as tied to the management as the previous coach, even though this coach and Mike Brown is more accomplished than the previous coach, I'm nervous on Mike Brown's behalf that there's going to be a quick hook. And that's unfair preemptively to him, but obviously he signed up.
Well, there was no coach that was going to come in this situation where if you don't make the finals this year, where everything was going to be fine. There's no patience in New York.
I disagree with that, because if they were going to give compensation to another team to get their coach, they're on the hook for longer than a year. In theory, if they were to get Jason Kidd and give up something to get him.
The pressure would be the same, though, and the expectations would be the same, and the failure to get there would still be seen in the same manner.
Now, because a month after the stunning firing of Coach Tom Thibodeau, the Knicks appear ready to hire. According to ESPN's Shams Charania, New York expected to hire two-time Coach of the Year Mike Brown, who's a coach who has a history of elevating teams in his first year. He's had at least an 8-win improvement in his first season in 3 of his 4 head coaching gigs, including an 18-win improvement in his first year with the Sacramento Kings just 2 years ago. Now, the Knicks won 51 games last season, so an 8-game improvement would be a pretty awesome season. Alan, you're very familiar, obviously, with this Knicks team. Is this the right hire for them?
Well, it's the right hire for right now because you needed somebody with experience. You needed somebody that has coached at a high level, has coached star players, has had success. He has a resume. All those things are very important for the Knicks right now because what he walks into is the expectations of not just having a good season. The expectation is, especially when you look at the landscape of the East and how things have changed since the Knicks were eliminated from the Eastern Conference Finals, is that it's no longer about, hey, just do the same thing they've done, which is back-to-back 50-win seasons, reach the Eastern Conference Finals. Now it's more. Now, to me, the expectation is the NBA Finals. And can Mike Brown deliver? Of all the coaches that they talked to, he was the guy with the resume and experience to do that.
Right, that's right. The expectation is the NBA Finals, and his expectation is NBA Finals right away.
Yes.
Bobby, is this, I mean, the pressure on this new coach that the Knicks have hired to deliver a championship in short order, what do you make of the hire?
Well, I like the hire, and I hope Knicks fans look at the whole body of work of Mike Brown and not how it ended in Sacramento there. As far as a guy who won Coach of the Year with the Kings, won Coach of the Year with Cleveland, was on that Golden State staff that won multiple championships here, and he is certainly established here. It is a rarity where you walk into a situation where it's a win-now team that has championship goals. Usually that's not the case here, and where you look at this Knicks team, they are probably one of the favorites in the Eastern Conference.
McMahon, is this, I mean, when you say championship goals, obviously they got close to the finals. Is this a team you think has what it takes